Hello? Okay. I think it's working. Well, the last few times I've tried recording, it either didn't work. I actually recorded for, I think, close to 2 hours yesterday. The first hour... Oh, hello. The first hour, I thought I was recording, but apparently I forgot to hit the button. Or, I guess, something happened that made the recording not work. And then, so I tried again. And the second hour, I guess I must have messed up the settings when I was recording the short video on how to fix the audio delay issue, because that made it so that the recording was all messed up. But I think I fixed it now, hopefully. The setting that got messed up is I accidentally... Hey, I didn't knock him up into the air. What the heck? The setting that it messed up is that it changed the canvas size of the recording in OBS, and so my screen's resolution is 4K, and I guess that bumped it up to 4K, and my little graphics card in the laptop here can't deal with that amount of data, it seems, so the video just got all messed up. Oh, my opponent's about to die. Anyways, it seems to be fixed now, and I adjusted the volume a bit. I noticed that it was a little hard to hear what I was saying a lot of times in the previous videos. You know, speaking of the previous videos, I went through some of them just because I like to watch them to sort of think about what I can improve or whatever. And I noticed that I was pretty quiet for most of the time in all of those videos. Usually the only time I'm talking is if I'm like making a comment about something that's going on in the game, or honestly I think that's really the only time. But I always kind of took it for granted how often or how people who make content are like constantly talking. I think if... Oh wow, I didn't know you could voice break them like that. But I think if you're making a video where like you're like trying to teach someone something, or you're... Why is he attacking with the shield? Hello? Oh. If you're making a video where you're trying to like teach someone something, or you have like an explicit goal in mind, it's a lot easier to keep the conversation going while you're recording or streaming, just because you can just sort of narrate what's happening, which I guess you can do for games as well, but I was never a huge fan of that. And you could also just explain how you're like getting closer to achieving the whatever task you're out to complete. But when you're sort of just doing a video like this, where you're just playing a game, it always feels a little awkward, I would say. Or maybe it's not that it feels awkward, but I feel a little awkward when you're sort of sitting here and I guess talking, to yourself. Hopefully there's people watching the videos, of course, and if you are, I guess thanks for that. There's a million things you can be doing with your time, so I guess if you decide to watch these videos, then I'm glad that hopefully they're entertaining for you in some way. Oh man, I really like how it knocks them up in the air like that. Do you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very cool. But, is he dead? Okay. Yeah, it's, it feels a little awkward, and that is actually the main reason I actually started wanting to make these videos in the first place, is I just wanted to practice talking a little more. I always feel like when I meet people, or when I'm with people who I'm not very familiar with, I always feel a little uncomfortable trying to like talk to them. I don't usually know like what to say, or like how to keep the conversation going. And so I figured this would be good practice for that. If nothing else, I can always just like go back, watch the videos, and sort of think about how I chose to like talk about something, or you know, have the conversation, or I guess the dialogue, since I'm kind of just monologuing, go forward. Oh, it's a turtle. But I also think that when people are like, you know, like if they're a streamer, for example, they do benefit from having like their viewers, obviously, because they'll be saying things. I wonder if we can bounce the snails up. No, they just die. That's sad. I'm sorry, snail. Yeah, you know, when someone's a streamer, they have their audience who can sort of interact with them, obviously. That's what they're there for. But I feel like that probably makes it a lot easier to have like interesting discussion going, or you know, keep the video or stream from feeling kind of quiet or empty. Because oh my goodness, run! Because you can always just like react to what they're saying, or they can like try to talk to you and you can respond. For these kinds of videos, you know, it's just, well, I guess you know, if you have a lot of people watching the videos, direct, you can respond to maybe like stuff they're saying in the comments or whatever, which probably helps a lot. But at least starting out, you know, it's just you trying to decide what you want to say on your own. And yeah, I always, like I said, took it for granted how people plan that, or like seem to be good at that. It's definitely not something that I think comes very easily to me, and I figured it'd probably be the easiest way to start is maybe just like, oh wow, 8 butterflies. I can make so many jars out of that. I figured the easiest way to start would be just to like maybe talk about, you know, myself, or you know, something going on in my life, just because that's not really that hard to think about, and you know, it's just kind of saying something that happened, or like describing something. Oh wow, that's a cool spell. That's also a cool spell. So yeah, I figured I'd start there, and maybe that would give me like some practice. Oh, you can! You can knock them into the air. That was sad. I kind of feel bad about that, honestly. But you know, they were blocking me from gathering butterflies. So yeah, you know, that'd be like an easy place to start, and maybe once I feel a little more comfortable, or I guess learn how people do that better, I could go from there. So yeah, I was actually doing this in that last video that I mentioned, where I said I was, you know, I had a recording going for about 2 hours before I realized that I wasn't actually recording anything. And what I started with is just kind of talking about what's been going on for me in the last year or so. Yeah, it's been a year. I actually moved about a year ago to be closer to family, and originally, oh, there's like a guy sticking out of the back of this thing. I did not realize that before. Yeah, I moved to be closer to, oh my god, why? I moved to be closer to family, and it's been about a year since I moved here. Originally, I lived in the West Coast, and my family all lived far away, so I would usually visit, like, wow, so many butterflies. This is like the best area for farming butterflies. I would visit like once or twice a year, usually around the holidays. Oh no, please don't hurt Torrent. And when I visited, I actually visited for quite a while. I would visit for Christmas, about a month. I would kind of save a lot of my vacation for Christmas just to use it all at once. And then also, I think during Thanksgiving-ish. Was it Thanksgiving? When was it? I don't know. I would usually come visit like for a short amount of time during some other point in the year. And that worked okay, but obviously it would have been, you know, I always wanted to live closer so I can visit more often. And I always felt like it wasn't really possible because of my job. You know, I work in tech, and so you have to be in the office to work with everyone, or at least you did, but then COVID happened and everyone started working from home. And, you know, 2 years, how long was it? It was like, I guess, a year in before they got the vaccines, 6 months to a year. I don't actually remember. Do you remember how long it was?
What?
How long was it before they had the vaccines for COVID? 9 months? Yeah, so it was like, it was a long time. Oh my god, this one over there. Oh, yeah, that's true. I guess for a vaccine, that's very... I'm sorry. For a vaccine, that's very fast, but, you know, during those 9 months, I was basically just working from home the whole time in lockdown, and I didn't really see anyone other than the roommates I had, of course, during that time. And one thing that happened during that time was, I don't remember if my sister had her baby during that time or if, you know, it was just like she had him around that time. But I was supposed to come visit for his baptism, yeah. And of course that never ended up happening because it wasn't safe to travel. And, you know, some amount of time passes and I finally come visit once the vaccines are rolled out and my family's vaccinated, I'm vaccinated. And I finally get to see my parents after it would have been quite a while, and my dad's hair had like completely grayed, I guess, in the time since I last saw him. And so that was a little, I'd say a little alarming, you know? I had always had a bit of a, I guess, the plan, in air quotes. And I think this is pretty normal for everyone, right? You like overestimate your ability to foresee like how things will go in the future. And for me, I always thought, you know, I would stay in California for a while to focus on my career, or yeah, I guess on my career. And then at some point I'd be able to like move away to live closer to my family. But yeah, I mean, having visited during that time and seeing how much things had changed in, you know, just a few months. I guess it was almost a year, but I mean, a year's not that long. Yeah, I mean, I just realized that you don't always get to decide the way things go. You know, there's a lot of circumstance to what happens in your life. And obviously you can respond to whatever circumstances affect you, but there's only so much you can do. Especially with something like COVID, you know, it was a pandemic, so everyone had to cope with it however they could. Oh, they got wrecked. So yeah, I started thinking about it a lot more. It being, you know, I really want to live closer to my family because they all live together right now, and you know, my parents are still relatively young. They're like young enough to be able to do things. They're not, you know, young adults, or they're not like they're definitely like grandparent age. You know, like obviously like I said, my sister had a baby, and they're like the age you would expect your grandparents to be when you're a little kid. So it kind of just became a lot more urgent, I would say, in my view, to figure out a way to move here, since, you know, I didn't know for sure if people would all be in the same place for very long, or, you know, how long my parents would stay in good health or whatever. And luckily, I mean, I guess not luckily, but like in reaction to all of the river well. Be wary of lift. Skill required ahead. No. All of these red splotches are clearly because people are just bad at this game. So I'll be fine. Wait, have I been here before? I haven't. Yeah, this is a different lift. Yeah. It just looked very similar. But, yeah, so, you know, my company... I started a new job, actually, literally the day that they shut everything down in California. Like, you know, like they closed all the offices and had everyone under lockdown. So my new job, I was supposed to go into the office that day. I was pretty excited for it because, like, the offices in California are quite nice. But that didn't happen, obviously. And they switched to a virtual first policy. So now, like, everyone works from home, basically, or, you know, there's no, like, central location anymore. And so for me, that worked out really nicely because, oh my god. Okay. Oh. It's those giant ant things. Go this way first. But that worked out really nicely for me because I was able to work from anywhere I wanted. So, you know, I talked to my company and told them that I wanted to move to where my family lived. And, ooh, magic grease, nice. And they approved it. I mean, they didn't just, like, approve it with no conditions. They did, like, cut my pay a bit. But, I mean, I'm not going to complain. I've always wanted to, you know, be able to move here. And now that I had the chance, I mean, like I said, in my opinion, it was definitely a worthwhile exchange. And honestly, it's probably the best decision I feel like I've ever made. Which is not to say that I regret going to California. It was really important for me, especially starting out, you know, from college, to go so that I can be exposed to... Please go away. Be exposed to, like, all the people I met and, like, have those opportunities that helped me advance in my career and all that. But, you know, I didn't want that to just be my entire life. It's like I just work for these giant companies and, you know, that's it. So, yeah, I'm just glad that I was able to... Oh god, he's gonna kill me. I am overburdened, I did not notice. I'm just glad that I was able to make that choice and that it worked out. Because, yeah, I mean, normally, like I said, I would only see... Why can't I target you? Hello? Hello? Okay, whatever. Like I said, normally I would only get to see my family like once or twice a year. And, you know, it was for a long period of time, granted, you know, a month or so. Why can't I target him? Can't. I'm very annoyed. But now I can see them, you know, whenever I want. Usually when people ask me at work, like, oh, like, was it worth it to move or whatever, it's like really easy to respond to that because I just say, well, like before, I would see my family, you know, a month out of the year. Now I see them anytime I want. You know, like this year alone, I have been able to do things with them more than I would have like in 10 years, basically, if I had stayed in California, which is crazy. It's like, you know, it's like a big chunk of my life. And, you know, now I live with my brother, which is also very cool. It's nice to live with family just because, A, my brother and I get along very well. Oh, that's sad. Poor thing. But also just because, like, it's way better than living with, like, strangers, random people, and even living with friends. Oh my god, he grabs me. That was brutal. Oh god, please don't kill me. Okay. But even living with friends is kind of a hassle sometimes because, like, you know, you have different expectations around how clean you want the house or, well, a lot of things. Not that it's not enjoyable to live with friends, but it's not quite as, I would say, easy, skinny sort required ahead, as easy as living with family, because like normally growing up you've lived with them for a very long time, so you already kind of know what to expect. I wonder if I'm able to get in there. Probably not. So yeah, that's sort of I'd say the biggest thing that happened to me in the last year, or probably will ever happen to me, honestly. It's like pretty much completely altered, I would say, the course of my life. And it's been great, honestly. I really like living here because of some of the reasons I already mentioned, but also because oh no, please, be nice to me. I'm just attacking you in your home. Not only for the reasons I already mentioned, but because I grew up sort of like in a rural area, so I'm much more accustomed to, I would say, like the slower pace of life you get. But I live pretty close to like a city now, so it's not like I'm, you know, in the boondocks hunting alligators with a shotgun or anything like that. Silver fireflies. I think I already have those. Ah yes, that gorgeous view. Beautiful. But yeah, well, you know, we live in like a little cul-de-sac, so it's like pretty far from the city, and things are very calm. And it's meant that I can do a lot of things that I'd always enjoyed doing, but couldn't because of where I lived. For example, excuse me. I never felt like I could really have a pet while I was in California, just because like the apartments are all tiny and rent is expensive, and I was having to move like every single year. That was honestly the worst part of living there. Ranged battle ahead. Okay. That was honestly like probably the worst part of living there, is just having to move every like 6 months to a year, having to like find housing, and it was just awful. So, you know, oh my, that's a big ant. Once I was here, I've always wanted to do beekeeping, and I actually did live here very briefly before I moved to California. Oh my, that one, that's like a huge stinger. These are like the Queen's personal guards or something. Oh, what's the problem? You don't know magic? It's too bad. Yeah, so, you know what, I did wait about a year. I didn't want to like jump into beekeeping as soon as I moved here, but this year I got a beehive. That's been pretty cool. They're just chilling out in the backyard, doing bee things. I think they're doing pretty well. And we got a leopard gecko. His name is Gorosaurus. He's very cute. I don't know if you've seen leopard geckos before, but their face, they have a resting, adorable face, for lack of a better way to describe it. They just have this expression constantly. It's kind of like a grin, but it's like a little bit of sassy, kind of like a cheeky little grin, you know, like a little kid who pranked you, and he knows you haven't like figured out what the prank is. He's like expecting you to notice any second, and it's probably just like, oh, you know, I like switched your fork and your spoon on your plate. Gotcha. That kind of cheeky little, innocent little smile. That's what he always looks like. Oh my goodness. What is this? There's no one left to protect the queen. I already know what those are gonna say. I'm sorry. You might have rare items. Goodbye. Oh. Okay, well, she was rich. I just mugged the queen for some money. But yeah, we got Goro, and very adorable, very cute. He's also a little sassy. He's got a little bit of an attitude. What I mean by that is we got him like one of those little... what are they? It's like a fake rock. It looks like a rock, but it's like hollow on the inside. And it has like 2 holes in the side that... I don't really want to go down there yet. I want to go back and look the other way. I haven't found a thing yet. I'll be back. Well, but there's an item there. I really want the item. What's the worst that can happen? Yeah. Yeah, he's a little sassy. He has this little, like I said, we got him a little rock that he lives in, or he likes to sleep in. It's nice and dark, and so it keeps, gives him some privacy, because during the day we're just doing stuff in the living room, and if he doesn't want to deal with us, he just goes and he hides in his little rock. But his tank is in view of the Church of Vows. Have I been there? His tank is in the... His tank is in the kitchen, basically. He can see the kitchen. And sometimes when you're sitting there just like minding your own business, eating or whatever, he'll poke his head out and kind of just like stare at you like, hey, are you gonna feed me? Like, what about me? And another thing he does is, oh my god, I've made a terrible mistake. Or maybe I can't throw these because I have no mana. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, that guy got wrecked. He did, but now I'm completely surrounded. I need my lance. My lance. Where is my lance? Can I just farm here? Of course not. But yeah, when he's one of the other things he does, which is a little cheeky, is okay, I really don't like you rolling at me like that. He'll kind of so he has teeth, I think, but they're not big. Like, I actually didn't even think he had teeth for a long time. But sometimes when you feed him, he'll get like a little excited. I don't know if he thinks your fingers are like big juicy mealworms. That's what we feed him mostly, is mealworms. I'm gonna die. There's like 40 zombies here. This is a nightmare. And I have no mana. Oh, I do have mana. Okay, I just need to group them up. Yeah, like I said, he does have teeth. I didn't know he had them for a long time, but basically, sometimes he gets excited and he'll bite you. Or maybe or sometimes he does it when he's like, if you try to pick him up. Normally he's not like against being picked up, but he's not like a fan of it. That's gonna hit me. So if he's not really in the mood for it, he might give you a little nibble, and it feels kind of like sandpaper. Like somebody rubbing it on your finger, basically. And it doesn't hurt, but it's a little alarming just because, you're not expecting it. And suddenly the Goro's like attached to your hand. So you do have to kind of be careful too. You don't want to like hurt him by yanking your hand away very suddenly or something. There's just so many zombies here. This is not a good time. Look at that AoE damage though. And so yeah, he's got a little bit of an attitude. He doesn't really do much, but I guess it's not too surprising. It's not like he has all that much to do in his tank. And his tank actually used to be the fish tank. My brother has some fish. There's 3 small ones. We call them the Canker Sisters, which I guess is dating myself a little bit. The Ed and Nettie, the 3 girls who would show up sometimes as side characters. I would like to kill all these zombies, but I'm not sure how I can do that. There's just so many of them. Maybe I can make some... I can't craft things right now. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, so there's those 3 fish, and then he also has this little shark. His name is Tulio. What kind of shark is it? Is it like you know? It's a catfish? Oh, I thought it was a shark.
Well, the name is like iridescent shark.
Oh, okay, so it's a catfish with the name of a shark, and he's like a bigger fish, but we got a bigger fish tank just so that, you know, the catfish would be a little happier. And their small tank was used as Goro's home. And, you know, I already mentioned the bees, so we actually have quite a few animals now, which I'm happy with because I love having pets. And I would like to get a cat or a dog at some point. Please don't leave me alone. I need to go find a set of grace. I'm leaving. I would like to get like a cat, I think, at some point. No, you... No! There was no elevator. Oh my god. That's awful. Who does that? I guess they would expect you to come down from the top first, so that was my own fault. But I would like to get a cat at some point. We used to have a dog, but she passed away, and I don't think I'm ready for another dog yet, and they just won't be as beautiful and precious as our previous dogs. So yeah, that's sort of some of the advantages that have come from being able to move here. I also really like doing gardening with my dad, which is, you know, obviously I couldn't do that before. Oh my god, it brought me all the way back here. Kill me. So maybe now I can shoot that annoying ant up on the wall, though. You know, I set up like a garden bed in my backyard. That's been cool. And my dad and I planted a bunch of things in there. We tried using like a custom soil blend, and I don't actually think it worked out very well. Like, the plants are kind of like stuck in this intermediate phase of growth. Like, they've sprouted, but they haven't really grown at all. And then I also have a ton of plants in pots. Is that ant just like not a real ant? Did the developers forget to put it like the soul of an ant in that outline? Because it just ignores you. Okay. Well, I should craft more pots. I can make fire pots this time though. The rock guys are weak to fire, probably, right? Yeah. So yeah, I also have a bunch of potted plants. There's like flowers and vegetables and all that good stuff. That's been really fun. And I couldn't really do that in California just because there's, again, no space. You are a bastard. You almost got me. That did a lot of damage. That was a scary amount of damage. That's what you get. Yep, so there's just a lot more space here. Something that was a little surprising to me when I moved here is actually just like the amount of stuff there is to do, you know? People always joke about this area. It's like, you know, we live in Oklahoma, and I think people like to joke about it because, I mean, oh god, run. And I mean, there's a lot to joke about, you know. Oklahoma, I like to say that they're good at being bad at things because it's like consistently ranked in like the bottom 10 for most things you would use to evaluate a place to live. But I think those things they use to evaluate places, you know, they're... Wait, did I come here already? There is a site of grace here, right? What are all these little gold things? Oh, whatever. You know, I think they have like a particular demographic in mind. Well, I guess it's obvious that they have a specific demographic in mind, right? When they rate these places, and I feel like they're always thinking of like a small family, you know, like it's like a mom, a dad, I think it's like 2.5 kids and a dog or whatever. So they rate them based on that, and you know that doesn't really reflect what I'm looking for in a place to live. Correct. So, because yeah, I mean, I was if you go off of what you read online, then this is like one of the worst places to live. But I've been really enjoying it just because I feel like there's a lot to do here. We live fairly close to a city, and how did I not see the sand before? And we have the benefit of living in subsidized suburbia, so I'm definitely not going to complain about that. And I'm joking, of course. Like, obviously, I'm not being literally subsidized. It's just, you know, like in America, suburban living is subsidized in general because, like, you know, of all the infrastructure that goes into building homes out in the middle of nowhere away from the city. But that's a bit of a tangent. In any case, a lot of the things I like doing are available here. Like the climbing here is really good, and there's plenty of places to eat, and of course there's not as much food diversity. Oh, okay, so this is how you get down here. There isn't as much food diversity here as there is in the West Coast, but you know it's just different. And what is this? Praise the message. It's just different, and I would say it's also good. And yeah. I think I've been here before. No. Why does this seem so familiar? This is where I died, right? Yeah. Okay. I guess I have been here. Just like very, very recently. Oh, there we go. Hello. Be wary of cramped area. Do you think that's one of those spots where like you die if you get into it because you can't get back out? I remember I saw you get into a spot like that where you like jumped or whatever and then you couldn't get down, so you just like died eventually. One of the things that I mentioned earlier, I remember I talked about it a bit more the first time I tried doing this recording. Well, I mean, I guess it's different because I can't like undo the progress I made, but you know, the first time I tried recording, since I decided to try to, I guess, talk more or like be more willing to say things besides just like random comments about what's going on in the game. You know, I mentioned that I feel that, oh my god, one of the things that makes this challenging is you can find yourself in kind of like a situation where you don't know what to say. Oh, that guy's gonna throw something at me. I hate these people. Go away. You don't know what to say, or you know, you run out of things to say. I mean, it's difficult to keep discussion going for a long time, especially when you're kind of just talking to yourself. And also just, I guess, keeping it interesting, which hopefully I'm doing a decent job of that. I guess it depends on how much a person takes interest in other people's lives, since I've mostly just been talking about myself. I thought these guys were like the rock guys and that I would like bounce off of them, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It does make it a lot easier to deal with. Except those bolas. The bola throwers, please. Stop throwing things. No. No! No! So yeah, I mean, I guess if you're the type of person who takes interest in just like other people's lives, there's a word for that. Well, not a word for someone who takes interest, but like you know, if you're someone who enjoys to sonder, you know, have a little sondering moment, word of the day there for you, I guess. Then that's probably interesting, but I don't actually know, like, in general, how many people are interested in that type of thing. I would guess it's quite a lot of people, since, I mean, well, now I'm just, I guess, projecting how I feel, because a lot of the people I like to watch are like that. They do a combination of, like, talking about themselves and, like, talking about what they're doing. This is a lot easier to do now that I know my sword won't bounce off of them. They also roll. But yeah, you know, that's... Huh? It's what's over. Nah, I have plenty of flasks. And they stagger every time I hit them, so... But they're done for. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like watching, so of course I'm projecting a bit when I say that, you know, it must be popular. Maybe it's not. Although, I mean, those YouTubers and like streamers or whatever do get their they have like an audience, right? So, and it's not like a, ow, that was rude. It's not like a trivial audience, so I guess the interest is there. Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to hear, you know, if you want to leave a comment or anything. Definitely if you have any stories to share from either something you learned during the pandemic, maybe some, maybe not necessarily a revelation, but an experience kind of like what I shared, where you made some changes to maybe how you were prioritizing things in your life, or I don't know, just anything, honestly. It's you know, as awful as it is, the pandemic is interesting because it's something almost everyone experienced, right? Mostly in bad ways, like in negative ways, but I feel like that's not very common, you know? There's only so many things that you know for sure everyone will experience. Most of them, you know, are related to, like, I mean, the most obvious ones are obviously being born and dying, but it's not like you can really talk about those, since one is like before you remember anything, and you probably wouldn't want to remember it, and the second one you can no longer talk afterwards. There's not much else like that like everyone goes through, so it's interesting to hear like how people are affected differently by it. I'd definitely love to hear, yeah, like I said, how others were impacted, or what changes it led to for them. Careful not to trip on the cables. Have I been here before? No. This area is huge. Ed, what the? No! No! I just got gunned down by a moth? A wasp? Dang. That was really unfortunate. Whatever. I only had 8,000 runes, so it's not like I lost that much money, but that feels a little bad. Yeah. What are you doing?
I'm listening at it.
Oh, you're drawing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Let's see. Where do I go now? This will take me down. And I will not fall to my death like I've done the last few times. Yesterday in the failed recording, I think I fell down a hole. Probably the same hole, by the way. I think like 5 times. Like, what was it that even made me do that? I think I just wasn't paying attention, honestly. Like I said, I definitely took it for granted how hard it is to sort of talk about things while doing this, and I would just like walk into the elevator shaft being like, oh, I'm gonna take the elevator up, and instead I would take the the short path to my death by falling into the pit below. Yeah. I don't want to fight all these guys again. I was actually kind of hoping I would get something for killing them all, but I didn't get anything. That was just a waste of time. I guess I got 8,000 runes, so whatever. It wasn't like it was hard. I just sat there and rolled it down, or jump attacked until they all died, so it's pretty easy. And this goes over here as well. I think that was the same place as before. Excuse me. Thank you. One thing, as I mentioned, that I've been able to do a lot more since I moved here. You know, now that my brother and I live together, we can, do things more often. Like before, when I would visit, we would usually play video games together, watch movies together, and I guess just the type of thing you do with friends. But a lot of times, how do I explain this? So, my brother and his friends are really into movies, and they go see a lot of movies, as you would expect. But, okay, right, I need to not die to that giant moth creature. Oh my god, it just shoots you from a mile away. Okay. This is really scary. How do I get over there? Do I have to climb this pillar? Yeah. Maybe. No. Yes. Yes. This is the way.
Duncan and I were gonna play his horde game.
Okay. I mean, he's not here yet, right?
Not yet.
Yeah.
It's not like a big surprise.
What?
I want to kick him off. He's coming specifically.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'll probably just stop after I fight this moth thing. This undead moth creature. It doesn't really have much HP. I was expecting a little bit more of a fight. I wonder if I can learn that spell. That would be something right there. All right. Well, I guess we'll stop here then, and I can. I guess we can continue tomorrow or whenever. But yeah, like I said, I'd definitely love to hear sort of what's been going on in people's lives, what changed for them, or what did they change for themselves in response to everything that happened in the last few years. And yeah, like I said, thanks for watching, and I guess don't forget to like the video or subscribe if you. Well, what is that? Oh, that was you. I was like, what the heck? You scared me. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, as he said, if you wanna see more. Thanks. Bye.